They all know each other. All these anti-Trump plotters and Spygaters and Ukraine hoaxers and impeachment hoaxers, they all know each other. They all have something to hide, ladies and gentlemen. And like ticks, they embed themselves in the news cycle and never, ever go away. Check out this story by the Free Beacon. You're never going to believe this, how these people just keep, it's like a beach ball, pushing it underwater. You're like, oh, boom, the beach ball pops up. They never go away, the anti-Trumpeteers. Here's a story in the Washington Free Beacon. Please check this out. We'll be in the show notes today, bongino.com/newsletter. If you go there, subscribe to the newsletter. We'll send you these articles every single day. So the Free Beacon has this story up about a key Spygate plotter from the Obama era re-emerging on the scene to run for Congress. Remember, if you're a Republican and you support Trump like Mike Flynn, you're to be put in jail and shunned with the Hester Prynne Scarlet Letter forever. But if you're a Spygate plotter that was involved in the plot to spy on Donald Trump, you run for Congress and you get a big book deal. Headline: Obama alum Evelyn Farkas, oh, remember the names, is running for Congress and away from Burisma. The former DOD official and Atlanta Council fellow, where have we heard that name before, didn't disclose her work with Burisma, even as she defended Hunter Biden. Again, you would think these people would slither away into the grass field of history and just go away for their roles in the deepest, darkest political scandal in American history, but they don't, because there's no penalty, because the media will celebrate this. Now, so before I get to some of the snapshots from the piece, what's going on here? How is this related, by the way, to the Ron Johnson letter I covered at the beginning of the show? I'll get to that in a moment. Evelyn Farkas, ladies and gentlemen, was the infamous DOD, Department of Defense official, who appeared right after the election on MSNBC. And the infamous, and we played the video on the show 1,000 times, where she tells the MSNBC host, we had all this information on Russia and Trump, and we wanted to make sure to get it up to Capitol Hill so it wouldn't disappear. Now, that was awfully suspicious because she exposed the whole Spygate scandal in one media appearance. No one bothered to ask her, wait, how did you in the DOD have information on Trump and Russia? Being that the Trump and Russia thing was a hoax, how did you get that exactly? Are you a federal investigator or a DOD bureaucrat? I'm not exactly sure how you got that. Nobody thought to ask her that. But again, instead of her going away and saying, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed, I gave up the Spygate thing on MSNBC, she'll get a mega book deal and she'll run for Congress and she'll probably be elected by police state supporting Democrats who love this kind of stuff. Let's go to the Free Beacon piece, takeaway number one. And I want to show you exactly why this is so frightening, Evelyn Farkas reappearing on the scene. Left unmentioned in her public statements is that Evelyn Farkas was an integral part of a muscular effort by Burisma. Burisma? You mean the Ukrainian company that hired Joe Biden's kid that was being investigated when Joe Biden had the prosecutor fired? Investigate him? Yes, that Burisma. Yeah. So Farkas was part of a, quote, muscular effort by Burisma to rehabilitate its reputation in the U.S. and abroad. As part of that effort, Farkas traveled to Ukraine on Burisma's dime and spoke at an Atlanta Council conference bankrolled by the energy company in 2018. What are the chances of that? My gosh. At the time of her trip, Farkas was a non-resident fellow specializing in Ukraine policy at the Atlanta Council. A Washington think tank received thousands of dollars and hundreds of thousands of dollars, in funding from Burisma. Folks.
Holy cow.
Old Phil Rizzuto style. Holy cow. Remember Phil Rizzuto? God rest his soul. Yeah. My grandmother grew up playing with Phil Rizzuto up in Glendale. I'm not kidding. Playing baseball.
Is that right?
Story. God rest. Yeah, she did.
I like Phil Rizzuto.
Scooter. The Scooter. Ladies and gentlemen, they all know each other. They all know each other. Just follow the money trail. So Evelyn Farkas, who goes on MSNBC after the election and tells them they're trying to get hoax information about Trump's connection to Russia, in essence is what she says, tells us to the host, up to Capitol Hill, some of it which was probably classified, in an effort to destroy the Trump. She admits it on MSNBC. Instead of slithering away, is now running for Congress. Farkas was part of the Atlanta Council. The Atlanta Council, funded by Burisma, the company Joe Biden's son works for, which donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to this think tank, the Atlanta Council, while the company was being investigated. The company's being investigated as it's donating to the Atlanta Council that conveniently has a lot of former Obama-era officials with influence on them. At the same time, Burisma is also using a company called Blue Star Strategies to lobby U.S. lawmakers to make the investigation into Burisma go away. Oh, Blue Star Strategies? You mean the same company Ron Johnson just sent the letter demanding they talk to Blue Star Strategies and their CEO and some of their officials? You mean that company? Yes, that company. Atlantic Council, also funded by Viktor Pinchuk, major wealthy Ukrainian donor who Hillary Clinton's team said, oh, we don't know this person, although there are emails showing them, inviting them, Pinchuk, to dinner at Hillary Clinton's house. The same guy who owns the company that was negotiating a deal overseas with the Iranians that was under review by the United States government and the State Department, Hillary Clinton was the head of at the time? Yes, that guy who funded the Atlantic Council too. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of you say to me, Dan, we need a chart, we need visuals. Folks, you understand what's going on now? Let me make it very simple for you. A company under investigation overseas in Ukraine, Burisma, hires Joe Biden's kid and funds a think tank that hires Obama officials, and then hires a company called Blue Star Strategies to go back to the United States to lobby them to make the investigation into their company, Burisma, go away. And while they're lobbying them, they conveniently mention over and over, hey, by the way, you know, we got Hunter Biden on our board. Again, these people never go away, ever. The Atlantic Council has been a hive for this stuff. Former Obama-era people and deep staters, to be fair, some Republicans too, they go over there, they sit on these boards. The Atlantic Council is getting money from Burisma. Now this lady Farkas is running for Congress after being one of the key players in this deep state plot. The piece goes on. It doesn't even end there. Washington Free Beacon. Read this piece. It's definitely worth your time because you'll be convinced, again, these people never go away. Burisma mounted a massive public relations and lobbying campaign to fight these charges. There were corruption charges against him and bolster its reputation in Washington. In 2014, the company obviously appointed VP's son, Hunter Biden, to a lucrative board position. Burisma also retained Atlantic Council board member Sally Painter, the CEO of Blue Star Strategies, a Washington, D.C. lobbying firm. Painter had served for years alongside Hunter Biden on the board of the liberal Truman National Security Project. I will lay this all out for you in my next book, I promise you. So just to be clear, the CEO of a lobbying firm, lobbying for Burisma to make a criminal investigation into their corruption go away, sat on a board with Hunter Biden, as Hunter Biden gets hired by Burisma as well to sit on their board, while the lobbying company, Blue Star, is using Hunter Biden's name to lobby U.S. officials to allegedly make the case against Burisma go away, the corruption case, to pressure Ukrainians to make it go away. Don't worry, folks, nothing to see here. Oh, and they sit on the board of the Atlantic Council, where Evelyn Farkas from the DOD, who outed the whole Spygate scandal, sits on that same Atlantic Council, funded by a Ukrainian donor tied to Hillary Clinton, who had oversight in the State Department of one of this guy's deals with Iran that conveniently was brushed under the rug. It never ends, folks. It never, ever ends. If these were Republicans, these connections would be exposed every single day on the front page of the dreaded New York Times and the darkness promoting Washington Post. What's going to come out about this, by the way? The Blue Star Strategies thing. Because remember, we opened up the show with the letter from Ron Johnson, Republican senator from Wisconsin, who's like, I want to talk to Blue Star. Why were they lobbying U.S. officials to allegedly make this case against Burisma go away, while Blue Star was throwing around Hunter Biden's name? Well, one of the allegations is very serious, folks. Potentially catastrophic for the Bidens. One of the allegations is that Blue Star was lobbying a guy by the name of Amos Hochstein, who was a senior advisor to Joe Biden when he was the vice president. Hochstein apparently wanted Burisma investigated and believed they were corrupt and we needed to do something about it in the United States. Who did Blue Star meet with? Oh, Hochstein. And according to the allegations, was trying to convince Hochstein, who is an advisor to Joe Biden, whose son is working on the company being investigated, Biden, on their board. Apparently, they met with Hochstein and said, hey, you really need to make this thing go away. You know, Hunter works for us, by the way. Sounds to me like an influence peddling operation. But again, expect to hear none of this in the mainstream media. But I always tell you, remember the names. Remember the name Evelyn Farkas? For years, it continues to come up. They never go away. Remember the name Amos Hochstein, because he is going to be the key to this whole thing. Because apparently he believed that we should have been investigating Burisma while Hunter Biden was getting rich off it. And Blue Star got hired and then went back and tried to talk Amos Hochstein out of it.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud. And follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 @DBongino.